Okay, folks, this is video one. This is first. Let me just say thanks for joining. You should be excited right now. I'm actually kind of nervous as I'm doing this, so my excitement might not shine through. But this is day one, and I want this to be one of the most powerful days as far as changing your perspective, changing your outlook on the way we're going to be doing things, changing the way you see things. Because that's really what's going to separate you, and that's what this course is. I don't even want to call this a course, because it's not what you've got in the past. It's not methods and all that kind of stuff. It's not really about that. It's not about the next way to make money online. It's not about chasing the fads. It's not about any of that kind of stuff. It's not about chasing the internet marketing trends and all that kind of stuff, at least not as a buyer. Because that's not where we want to position ourselves anymore. We don't want to be buyers anymore. We want to be sellers. We want to be on the cutting edge. Okay, so not necessarily sellers of internet marketing products, because I honestly don't feel good selling a lot of that stuff, and that's why I don't, because I don't believe in it. Now, products that I do believe in, that's a different story. But I kind of wanted to shoot this video just to kind of give you a understanding of what to expect from me, from my course and all that kind of stuff. I keep calling it a course, but that's not really what it is. It's more like let's just call it a community. All right, so we'll just call it a community. It's very exclusive. Yes, not everybody's allowed in. No, and you'll see why once I start to share the things that I share with you. Some of you already get it. If anybody tried to put their code on blinkweb.com before, then you understand the importance of keeping some things a secret. Their CPA lead code, if you ever try to put that on BlinkWeb, you understand the importance of keeping something secret, which is why I'm doing it this way. Also, I kind of just want to set expectations to reality. As I said, this is not about money-making methods. If anything, this is more so about mindset, changing your state from being a receiver to a giver. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to teach you to be more like me, more like a teacher, more like someone who has their own product. Someone who can, instead of waiting on training to be able to come up with a new way to make money, somebody who can think like that on their own, so that in those dire situations, because trust me, I've been in them, and every single time, because of my skill set, I've been able to generate income when I need it. Not the opposite where it's like, I need income, so I go and search Warrior Form for a product to buy so that I can learn how to make money. We don't want to be like that, and we don't want to be chasing the next social network when somebody else comes out with it. We want to be trying to create our own social network. We want to be thinking big picture. We don't want to be thinking, okay, how can I manipulate Pinterest to get backlinks and SEO? No. We want to find the next uprising social network, because before Pinterest blew up, it was on the rise. And while it was on the rise is when people manipulated it. When people manipulated it, then they learned the loopholes, what they could and could not do. And then Pinterest every site does this the exact same way. They shut down. They don't allow any more people in until they can figure out how to fix this spam problem. That's when everybody else starts to teach about Pinterest, so that you go in there and your method is either saturated or about to be. We don't want to be like that. We want to be on the cutting edge. We want to be thinking. We want to see the signals. And I'm going to show you where the signals are. I want to show you where you'll be able to determine the mentality of the entire country, if not the world, at one specific time. You'll know exactly what people are thinking. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's really, really easy when you understand how things work. And that's another thing I want you to understand is, one, how your mind works. If you don't understand how your mind works, then you truly can't be successful. It's hard to, I won't say that it's truly you can't be successful, but you won't be able to duplicate it. When you understand how things work, and that's one of the beauties about science, is science shows the laws and the rules of things, and it's only a law if it can be done over and over again through experiment. So that means that it's consistent. In 99.99999 cases, 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. And I've actually had a mathematician show me how it can equal 5, but I can't reduplicate that. I don't know how that works, but I do know 2 plus 2 usually equals 4 the majority of the time. So that's what we want to do. Understand how things work so that we can continually duplicate it over and over and over again, so that we can foresee where we're going because we know how we work. We can understand when we're procrastinating and why we're procrastinating. We can understand our excuses may be actually outward projection of an inward fear that we haven't even realized that we've had, because we've masked it with this fake persona that we fortify with our excuses. Meaning that, let's say that I'm afraid of dogs, and instead of me saying I'm afraid of dogs, let's just say I hate the way dogs smell, keep that thing away from me. I start to say that as opposed to admitting my fear. One thing that I've realized is I move along a lot further and faster in life when I'm real with myself. When I tell myself, you know what, that's an excuse. Really what you're trying to do is bury that flaw. And when I can see that flaw, then I can do something about it, as opposed to trying to mask it and hope it goes away. So this course is also, of course, this membership, whatever, is also about growing up, because one thing Google is forcing us internet marketers to do is grow up. And I'm thankful for that. I was thankful for Squidoo when they locked all my lenses. I was thankful for BlinkWeb when they took down all my sites. I wasn't at the time, but what it did, it just forced me to grow up. And that's what I want to do with this. I want to change perspectives and mentalities. We're just going to start seeing things a totally different way. And I'm going to show you how to surround yourself with stuff that will make sure that you separate yourself. And when it happens, when it starts to happen, I got to warn you, you may become very dissatisfied with the life around you. But that's the point. When that occurs, then you know that it's working. Some of you may already be there, but you may be dissatisfied for the wrong reasons, as opposed to new knowledge that enhances your life. You may be dissatisfied with life because of a lack of something. Okay, we want to kind of change that. We want to make the new knowledge make you aware of the lack of something, as opposed to any kind of circumstances that would just upset you. Because that motivation is good, but it's short-lived a lot of the time. If we can change our mentalities as a whole, then the things that push us now, just think about it. Your life is a constant stream of patterns and habits and traditions and rituals that you do every day, right? You might not know why you do those things, and some of those things you might know. Some of them you didn't do all your life, and some of them you've done the majority of your life. But some of them you can tell when that habit or when that ritual or that tradition came into your life, and now you just kind of do it. If you can figure out why you do those things, if you can first identify those things, then you can change them and make them more conducive to your success and to your future goals and things like that. And it's really, I can't say it's easy to do, but when you know how to do it, it's easy as creating a bad habit. The bad habits are just, they have more of an emotional resonance with us. We do them because it was something on the inside of us that wants to do it, as opposed to most habits where we have to do it, or it's best if we do it. So we're going to talk about things like that. What I mostly want to do is show you how to be different than everyone else, because that's what separates me. I want to show you how I do research, and the way that I'm going to do these is going to be very long and drawn out. You need to realize that now, because like I said, this isn't some course. This is school, this is training, this is teaching, okay? So I'm going to try to show you the inner workings, all the nuances and stuff like that. And some things I may skip over because I think they're too shallow to teach. Some things I may refer you to YouTube for. Some things I may refer you to another site for, because they're too shallow to teach. I don't want to teach you how to set up a WordPress site. I'm sorry. But there's videos on YouTube that take you step by step, the same ones that taught me. Okay, so if they can teach me how to do it, they can teach you how to do it. So things like that I might not be going over. What I really want to go in depth with are the things that pertain specifically to me, the ideas that I recognize and things like that. So I want to get your expectations right on that. I want to teach everybody how to create their own product, because you all have one within you, whether you think you don't or whatever. You have a product in you. I'm pretty sure I can. And also another thing I want to do is find you guys a following. I want to show you how to create email lists, get subscribers on the email list, the mentality of subscribers and all that kind of stuff. I personally, as you can see, with the amount of times that I've contacted you guys through email, I personally don't use the whole email tactic thing, which is why I prefer a membership as opposed to an email list. Because with the way most people do their email list, it's not about caring about the people, it's about how much money are these people worth. and then you calculate that, and then you sell them products. But as I said, I don't believe in 99% of the products that's out there, so how would I sell them? And that's always been my issue. It's like my email list is good because I got people that I can teach. I got people that I can sell my course to. I got people who have gone through my course who see me as an expert in the field and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, I'm not selling y'all no clickbank products and stuff like that. So it wasn't as beneficial in the way that they were talking about. But you selling your own product, I can show you as well how to have your own email list that's in that niche area or whatever your product may be. And I don't mean selling somebody else's product. I don't mean selling a product that you believe in that's good and you back it. No, I'm talking about creating your own piece of property that you can sell, that the money comes directly to you. That's what I'm talking about. Creating a business, more of a business, okay? So those are going to be some things that we get into as well. And that's another thing that I'm glad to be able to keep a secret, because not everybody deserves that. Not everybody deserves that power and that ability. And, you know, so hopefully you guys have qualified yourselves as the right ones. Also, I will be teaching you guys quick ways to make money and things like that, because I understand that this $97 can be an added expense. I would like you to look at it more as an investment, but I don't want it to be something that you worry about. So as I said before in the other email, one of the first things I'm going to teach you is how to make that $97 a month right back. Okay, this is going to be pretty easy. You may not agree with the pricing that I set when I tell you what you're going to be doing, but it's going to be easy. You're going to get your people before the end of the month, and you'll be able to have this money coming in every month for the most part. And whenever the money stops, you'll be able to reduplicate it, and then you'll be able to raise your prices up as your confidence rises too, and then you'll be making a profit from what I taught you in the first module. So it'll be awesome. But that's the other thing. And also, one more thing that I'll probably end this soon, because I'm shooting this from my phone and I don't know how much memory is in there. My camera actually broke, which I'm upset about because it was a birthday present from my boo-boo, but she, you know, is broke now. So, but as I was saying, I want to talk about how you should work. Okay, when you get an idea or a method, let's say that the method requires you to, because most of the time when you come up with an idea, you found traffic somewhere, you want to get a piece of content in front of that traffic. Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to try to find 100 equal things in that niche or in that genre or related to that keyword, 100 other keywords or 99 other keywords related to that first keyword that's either equivalent, meaning that if the keyword was in make money, if the keyword was make money online, let's say you would get keywords like make money with YouTube, things like that, all that kind of stuff, right? Or it can be another idea that's similar. That'll be hard to explain until we get to the module, but this is what I'm going to say. If you have to make a squidoo lens, make 100 of them for 100 different keywords and do the exact same thing for all 100. And trust me, you can do it once I show you how everything works. But the reason that is because just imagine if you did one squidoo lens, or if you did 2 squidoo lenses and they get up to wherever they're supposed to go. Maybe they don't get there as fast as you want, maybe they don't rank as highly as you want, or whatever. Anything could happen, right? Because as you see, no SEO situation is ever really the same. So let's say you do this and you rank your 4 or 5 squidoo lenses and they all make you $5 a piece. For the most part, that's a failure, because I'm pretty sure you had more money in mind when you set out to do what you was doing. Now let's say you did 100 squidoo lenses, and let's say it took you a month to properly promote them all to where they get to the first page. So they get to the first page within a month, and now they all make $5. That's $500 a month from 100 failures. 100 failures. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way, then it's pretty hard to fail. You know, and it's pretty easy to succeed. The average person isn't going to do that. I wouldn't have done that. But now I understand how if you expand that way, then failure is not failure. And also I want to talk to you about, I know I said I was going to end it, but I want you to understand cycles. If you understand, if any of you took the Average Joe's course, you know, the Average Joe's Club that I created, if any of you took that was 2 years ago, I believe, around 2 years ago, maybe more now, module 4, the whole piggyback method, came right back Squidoo at one point in time was kind of de-indexed. Nobody was using them anymore. They came right back. Now they dominate the search. There's cycles. There's always cycles in internet marketing. There's always cycles. Always cycles. I mean, and you'll see it over and over and over again. That's why it's almost like, that's why you shouldn't chase fads. But at the same time, fads should be a part of what you do. Because let me put it like this: you don't chase fads with your sustainable income, but you chase fads for fast money to be able to sow into your business. That's what you do. You don't, because most people make most people make a profit from ushering the sheep, the herds, to the fads, and that's how they create a sustainable business. I mean, tabloids do it all the time. What's today's juicy gossip? What's tomorrow's juicy gossip? They're giving people nothing. It's stuff that is no quality. No, it doesn't really enhance anybody's life, and they understand that. They're giving away trash, but they understand that people chase trash every day, so they give it to them, and that's how they succeed, and that's how they create a sustainable business. Shiny things will always be a niche. That's the niche. It's not internet marketing. It's shiny things. It's shiny things. It's the newness niche. Okay, so there's always going to be cycles. The fads, we don't chase those. We see how we can use those to make money to put into our sustainable business. That's what we do. We want to future-proof everything to make sure that it's always long-term. Because guess what, folks? You know, as a young man, I don't think about this often, but you know, a 10-year plan just seems, why would I want to wait 10 years? You know, and it's hard for me to fathom that. And that's one of the new things that I have to implement in my own mind, is a 10-year plan, to understand that, guess what? You know, I might be trying to get the fast money now, and my websites may all get demolished in this next Panda update because I built 10,000 links to each one of them saying the exact same thing. But who cares? You know, I gotta live now because tomorrow's not promised, right? And I want to have the money now because who says I'll be here in 10 years? But most of us, we reach that age. We live the next 10 years, and then we look back and wish that we had done something differently. I mean, I myself personally, now looking back on the last 3 or 4 years that I've been doing internet marketing, wish I'd have done things differently at the beginning. When at the beginning I sacrificed my long-term goals to get that short-term result. And we can't think like that anymore. You know, we just have to future-proof it. Google's not going anywhere. Bing's on the rise. I don't know what's happening to Yahoo. Who cares? But we have to future-proof our business. We have to understand where things are going by looking at the past cycles. Okay, so one thing that we can guarantee is that all the spammers will be wiped out the next update. We can guarantee that. We can guarantee that if you have any kind of linking schemes going on, that you'll probably be wiped out in the next update. But there's still ways that we can future-proof our business by doing the exact same things that everybody else are. Alright, so it's really amazing when you just change your perspective. Right? Let me give you a perfect example, and I'll try to end with this. If you've ever seen any of those pictures that have like they're I forgot what they're called. They're like dual something, where it's 2 pictures in one. You know, where they got the picture where on one side it's a old maid, on the other side it's a beautiful lady, depending on how you look at it. Or the one where there's a vase in between, or there's one where there's a lamp in between, and it's supposed to look like a butt and a thong with, you know, the lamps in between, and there's something here. It looks supposed to like a butt and a thong until you look focus differently. There's another one where there's 2 faces coming in like this, but in the middle there's a vase. So and this is what I've seen happen a lot of time in internet marketing, or period. When somebody teaches you, a lot of times what happens is you gain their perspective, right? So let's say I told you, I got the one picture with the vase in it with the 2 faces, and I told you that this is a picture of a vase, right? What I'm getting ready to show you is a picture of a white vase. Tell me if you see the white vase. And then I turn it around and I show you. All you'll be able to see is the white vase. You'll never see the 2 faces on the side. And though I'm aware of them, the way that I teach you determines whether you see them or not. So that's how you change your perspective, or that's how perspective works. But then when I say, how many of you see the 2 faces on the side? You'd be like, it's looking at the exact same picture, and it just turned into something totally different. And now you're seeing something that most people wouldn't. Looking at the exact same situation, but you're seeing something totally different than what everybody else is seeing because of your perspective. And in the last, I would say even 30 days, the way my perspective has changed is just radical. In the last years, it's been a total demolishing of what I previously believed, to lead me up to a point where I'm just open. I can see things totally different now. You know, commercials will never be the same for me. Advertisements in papers and magazines will never be the same. Every store that I walk past, when I see their advertising, it's never the same. When I go inside the store and I see the advertising in the store, I mean, I'm receiving data all day, and it's changing the way that I market, changing the way that I see things, and it's constantly stacking upon itself. I mean, and another beautiful thing about it is you already have your perspective. And when I give you what I have, you'll be able to take what you have and what I have and put it together and make a totally new perspective. And you'll have something that I don't have. And that goes for each and every one of you. And when one of you may send something in an email to me and share it with me, now I add that to my perspective. And though you shared an idea with me that I didn't have before, now I have something that you didn't have before, which is your perspective and my perspective. So it's a beautiful thing. And when you start to see how we gain information, when you see how we process information, and when you see how the body uses it in its day-to-day, you'll be able to manipulate that. You'll be able to use that on purpose as opposed to someone else manipulating you. And I'm going to show you that too. You'll be able to see sales funnels. You'll start to buy things because you're impressed by the marketing as opposed to manipulated by it. It's just going to be a whole different world, a whole different world. And unfortunately, I can't give that to you all in the first module, because what I give you in the first module is something that you really, 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 really need to break down. Don't try to watch it all in one sitting. I mean, you can. I wouldn't watch it all and take notes, not in the first sitting. What I like to do when I watch things is usually, if I can watch it all the way through, then I'll watch it all the way through, and then I'll go back again and then start to take my notes, because I'll hear things that I didn't hear the first time anyway. And also, don't skip videos because you don't think they're important to you, because it's all important. I'm not wasting my breath telling you anything, so it's all important. Don't skip videos. If the video is too long, if you're getting tired, don't skip to the thing that you really want to see. You know, don't have that mentality, because it's all important, it's all relevant, and it's all stacking on top of each other. And if you, though the video might be about keyword research, you never know what tip I might say in it. Because you know me, I go off on tangents. That's how I do. When something comes into my head, I think it's important, I want to share it right then and there, right? So don't skip a video just thinking that it might not be important. If anything, just pause, take a break, get something to drink, you know, maybe get some food, go outside, get some air. I don't know what you do, smoke a cigarette, whatever, and then come back in and then continue. Don't skip, because you never know what you're going to miss. And then a lot of times we like to tell ourselves that we'll go back, but sometimes we don't, okay? And the videos are going to be a little bit, I think they're going to be a little longer than before, because as I said, this isn't, you know, point A, point B, point C. No, this is how I wake up, get on the computer, let's see if I can find some money today. It's going to be like that, okay? So that might take 30 to 60 minutes, you never know. But I want to show you how I work so that you can see all the nuances, as opposed to me just giving you the method, because the method is the point that I reach, right? Really, it's the point that I reach, but it's not the before. It's not the how I got there. So I want to show you guys that, and that might take a little long, right, on the videos, but I mean, you'll find value in it. Some of it may be boring. I'm going to tell you that up front. Some of it may be boring, because really the real work is boring. It's the result that we like. It's not the work that we like, right? We just like to see the results of our work, to know that what we did wasn't in vain. And then that's another thing. Oh my gosh, I can just keep going with this stuff. But that's another thing. A lot of people, the reason that they follow is because you lose money and you make mistakes and you look like a fool when you lead. You know, the person in the front is the one that everybody sees. So if he trips and falls, and everybody sees it. You know, the person in the front, if he walking funny, everybody gets to see it. That's behind him. But the people in the back in the crowd, nobody gets to see them, you know, because they're doing what everybody else is doing to maintain that status quo of safety. And that's not something that I'm really fond of. I myself, personally, I love to make mistakes. I admit I've lost a lot of friends through the mistakes that I've made, but I've learned so much by taking the risks that they didn't take, you know, and that's just the kind of person that I am. I'd rather be wrong than religious. That's what I say. And when I say religious, I don't mean having a religion. I just mean those blind traditions that everybody else follows just to make sure they don't go to hell. I'm not really into that. You know what I mean? And the same thing applies to internet marketing. If Google slaps a website, they slap a website. Guess what? Sometimes they slap the right website, and sometimes they promote the wrong one. It happens. That's why we have to be doing 100 at a time. I don't mean 100 .coms or whatever, but that's why we can't be worried about that kind of stuff. That's why we got to be leaders. We got to be innovative, because guess what? When you find that next big thing with the other people who was just following the herd, it'll be all yours. All yours. Nobody will be able to play in your playground, because it'll be your community. It'll be a gated community that you own. Nobody else can come in there unless you allow them in. And that's the beauty of it. When you can find areas where there's no one at, because no one is thinking to make money the way that you're thinking to make money, you can have a ball. And until someone else gets the same idea and maybe kind of comes along and follows your tracks and sees what you're doing. And I mean, they won't be able to tell if it's profitable or not, because they haven't tried it yet. So most of the times when they still see those things, they'll be like, I don't know if this person left this site here because it doesn't make any money, or if it makes money, but I don't want to try, because if I fail, then I fail. Who wants to waste work? Who wants to waste time? That's how everybody thinks. And that's why we have to waste work. We have to waste time, because nobody else is doing that. They're wasting work and wasting time doing what everybody else is doing, because they're fighting against 1 million people. When we can be going against 10 people who rank by accident and get 74,000 people to your site a month. You know what I mean? And it's possible. I'm going to show you that. It's going to be one of the first things that I show you, because it's going to open your awareness just in module 1. So that's pretty much it. Let me make sure though. Look at this. Paper too. This is a new thing that I'm using, paper, and writing stuff down. And you'll see why that works. It's amazing what it does. Amazing what it does. Truly, 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 truly amazing. Truly amazing. Truly amazing. It's like though my brain has been put on that paper, somehow it's still connected to me, so I still know that stuff. But usually I would just leave it all up in here, and trust me, that is not the best way to do it. When you put it, it's just something that happens when you put it on paper. Something that happens in the universe, and I'll talk to you about that too. But just trust me, it's gold. But I'm gonna stop the video here. This is the first one. I just want to give you guys a understanding of what's getting ready to happen, what's getting ready to pop off, and it's going to be beautiful. Trust me, this is going to be beautiful. It may not be what you expected. That's what I want to point out. It may not be what you wanted when you signed up, but trust me, it's going to be what you need. It's going to be beautiful. A lot of the stuff that I've learned in the last year is the stuff I skipped in my first year. A lot of the people that I admire now and look to now were the people that I didn't admire and look to when I first started, and it was a mistake. I mean, of course, now I have the good and the bad to contrast, so that I know it was a mistake. But it was a mistake to skip over those people, to not listen to them and take their advice early on. And that's what it's about. Making that sustainable business is doing those things. So we're going to see some good things. It's going to change our mindsets and elevate us in life. It's going to be really good. And one piece of advice that I have: when you start to get this new perspective, you're going to want to share it with the people around you. The people around you don't think like you. And that may disappoint you, it may make you feel alone, all that kind of stuff, but trust me, you're not. 1, and 2, don't blame them. Don't take that out on them, because you'll understand what I'm saying when you get there. Don't take it out on them, don't blame them, because it's not their fault. Most people don't desire to be like that, so you can't really force them to. You can't really expect them to if they don't desire to be that way. Alright, and that's not their fault. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own life to live, their own goals, their own perspective, their own future. And not everybody can follow in the same path that we do. Not everybody's a leader, and not everybody's meant to be an internet marketing genius, and all that kind of stuff. So when you go to share these things and it's not received the way you want to, don't be discouraged. Just know that it's real. Know that it's true for yourself. Okay, because one thing we're going to be talking about is emotions and all that kind of stuff, and the satisfaction and all that kind of stuff, because you'll understand that really you don't need anybody else. All you need is you. Okay, and for some of my other friends, you understand what I really mean, but you don't need anybody else. All you need is you. Okay, you will be your own motivation. You will be your own fuel. You will be, your own pat on the back. Because I'll just put it this way: we do everything for a feeling. That feeling, though, is derived from within us. So that means that at the end of the day, somebody else made us have a chemical reaction within our body that we could have made ourselves have if we understood that that's what's happening. Okay, and we'll talk about that more too. And that kind of led me on to another thing, but I think I'm going to end it here because I can't remember what that other thing was. But this is going to be really good, folks. It's going to be really good. Oh yeah, you'll be able to surround yourself with the people that will give you those things. All right, and I'll show you how. It's just about changing the people that you hang with and all that kind of stuff, but not necessarily in the street. It's going to be amazing. You'll see. But I'm gonna end the video here, folks. We're on for a journey, and I appreciate you jumping aboard. I really do, because I understand that money is hard earned, and for you to sow into me so that I can sow into you, I appreciate you seeing the value in what I have to offer. I never actually thought that I would have people interested in what I had to say to spend the amount of money that you guys are spending a month, and it's only because I didn't value my own content. I didn't value what I had to say, and it's crazy. Your own perception of yourself sometimes can be very small, can be very one-sided. Just seeing the vase, not the two faces. So I appreciate you guys seeing that in me when I didn't even see it in myself. That's a cool thing. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna end this video before I get emotional, having chemical reactions going on in me. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.